welcome to tonight's CityWide Sports Network College Football telecast. We're here live for a Conference USA matchup with the UTSA Roadrunners hosting the UAB Blazers. I'm Mike Lefko along with Bobby Stotzenberger and Aaron Carreño on the sidelines. And welcome to the Gun Automotive Group pregame show. It's presented by Gun Automotive Group, where buying your next vehicle is real simple. GunAuto.com. We have a matchup of two terrific teams in Conference USA, and Bobby, UTSA comes in with 5 wins, looking for that big one to gain bowl eligibility.
Well, after being a bowl team a year ago, anything less than that would be a letdown for UTSA. They got 3 shots at it. They need one more win to become bowl eligible, and it starts here tonight at the Alamo Dome.
UAB has 6 wins already. They still have outside designs on a conference division title for UAB. If they want to do well in this game, who will lead them?
Well, they have a great freshman running back. He is unusually talented and big for his age. Spencer Brown, over 1,000 yards rushing in only 9 games. They are going to run right at UTSA with Spencer Brown. Make no mistake, that's what UAB wants to do.
And for UTSA, who will be key in maybe slowing down Spencer Brown?
Well, it starts up front. Marcus Davenport, one of the best defensive players, not only in Conference USA, but maybe even the nation. He went from a 6'6", 180-pound senior at Stevens High School in San Antonio to one of the best defensive ends in the entire nation.
After this, we will get into Bobby's keys to victory, but right now, Aaron Carreño down with head coach Frank Wilson. She asked him about the importance of this game.
I think it's important more than anything just to get that sour taste out of our mouth. Didn't play our very best as a complete team last week. Looking forward to playing our best. And, you know, the thing I've said to our team, it's not necessarily that it's a must-win, we have to win this game, but we must play to the best of our ability. If we do that, it'll take care of itself. I feel very confident in what the outcome would be then. But if we can concentrate on play-by-play, doing all the little things right, and put ourselves in position to play our best football, I like our chances.
It's just the second meeting between UAB and UTSA, and we'll have more coming up on the CityWide Sports Network. As you know, Gun Auto keeps things real simple. We're going to make this real simple. Bobby, for UAB, in order to win this game, they simply have to do what?
Well, first, get the ball to Andre. Andre Wilson is his homecoming. He's a Judson High School grad here in San Antonio. He's an explosive receiver and return man. Maybe find another way, reverse or something, to get him the football. Also pressure the UTSA offensive line. They have struggled with injuries and consistency. UAB wants to put pressure on them up front and protect the football because the UTSA likes to feast off of turnovers. For UTSA, they need to get off to a fast start. They've been lethargic on offense. If they can get off to a good start, that will continue through the game. Also establish the line of scrimmage with the offensive line and make those turnovers count, turn the turnovers into points. They had 3 last week and no points.
Well, we set this one up. It's a big showdown. CUSA matchup in the West. We're back with kickoff between UAB and UTSA. On this Veterans Day, we like to give our thanks to all active and former military members for all they have done and all they do. And the coin toss just moments ago, Army First Class Idris Smith participated in the coin toss. It is Military Appreciation Day here at the Alamo Dome. And Brigadier General Jeffrey Johnson out there as well. Military Appreciation Day here in the Alamo Dome, and this Veterans Day, it's a very special moment here for these two teams.
No doubt. I live right off of Houston Street, and I got to see some of the Veterans Day parade going through downtown San Antonio today. Hats off and thank you to all the veterans out there.
And now we are ready for football. UAB and UTSA. They've only met once before, and UTSA won pretty handily, 52-31. This is a much different UAB team. We'll talk about where they've come from and where they are now. And this Blazers team ready to come in, and UTSA fired up on the sideline, trying to get that 6th win. Kick is away to Winnigan. He's got speed, and Winnigan has almost broken some before, but bottled up and wrapped up right there. Blazers all over that one, and that's where Dalton Sturm will lead the offense out.
First down, UTSA.
Dalton Sturm, a guy, Bobby, that really can do it all, but he had to do it all last week, unfortunately, for UTSA in the game against FIU. He combined for almost all of their offense. They were held to just 261 yards of total offense.
He's going to have to get better help from his offensive line. They have struggled in recent weeks. Again, a big, fast start is what UTSA needs to turn this offense around.
Sturm out there along with Jalen Rhodes. The junior from Rowlett, Texas. Handoff goes to Campbell Jr. He's got some space, and Campbell Jr. gets upended on the far sideline. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. They're presented by IHOP. Dalton Sturm, we highlighted the 6'2 senior, the former walk-on. There are a couple of guys who are former walk-ons who are playing big roles on this UTSA team. Kerry Thomas Jr., the brother of former walk-on Josh Stewart, and Tyrell Clay, who comes off the bench, a walk-on, along with Brady Jones, a couple of other guys you see off the bench for this UTSA offense. Heavy pressure for Sturm, has to just fling it up, and it's intercepted. A ball-hawking UAB defense. Will Dawkins gets the interception, and this is a UAB team that now has picked off passes in 5 straight games.
On the
and they take over early.
On the play action here, Dalton Sturm's rolling right. He really just threw that ball up for grabs, and Dawkins is sitting back there in center field, read it, ran to it. And that's why UAB wanted to go on defense first. They set the tone with their defense. They get the turnover, and great field position for the Blazers.
Dawkins' first interception this year. It's the 12th this season for UAB, and that's something that Frank Stelfo, UTSA's offense coordinator, talked about. They have maybe the best secondary that they're going to see in Conference USA. Now here's A.J. Erdley. And of course, the man who has the ball right now, Spencer Brown. We'll talk about him in a second, but right now let's take a look at UAB's starting lineup presented by IHOP. There's Erdley, the 6'4 senior. And we talked so much about Spencer Brown early, but Erdley can get it done as well. He's got 10 rushing touchdowns this year to go along with his good chunk of passing yards, 12 passing touchdowns.
He's a true dual threat quarterback for the Blazers.
Takes it again, powering forward. But there is Marcos Curry coming up to make the tackle. And Curry is a guy getting the start. Let's take a look at this starting lineup presented by IHOP. Marcos Curry gets the start instead of Josiah Tawa-Efa. With a man to highlight, Marcus Davenport. 12 tackles for loss and 6.5 sacks this season for the Roadrunners.
Big third down here, Mike. UAB in field goal range. They don't want to lose yardage here, but they may be able to run the ball for a first down still.
Erdley out of the backfield. Slips it out to Donnie Lee, who gets just past the marker.
Pass complete to number 4, Donnie Lee.
And you think when you put Donnie Lee in there, maybe they are putting him in there for pass protection purposes. Instead, they flare it out to him and get the first down.
And our first half instant replays are brought to you by Thomas J. Henry. When you or your family need help, call Thomas J. Henry 24/7 nights and weekends. 210-656-1000. UAB continues to be effective on third down. They've converted 48% this year. Here's some space. Spencer Brown going towards the sideline. And Spencer Brown churning down towards that goal line.
In the pregame was talking about other ways to get the ball to Andre Wilson. You saw he came in motion on that play. That may be setting up a play later on here for UAB, but they do go ahead and go with the bread and butter and run Spencer Brown for another first down.
In a team chock full of transfers and upperclassmen, Spencer Brown, the rare true freshman, came in and worked his way to the top of the depth chart. He might set every UAB rushing record by the time his career is wrapped up. Brown again, wrapped up by Lakel Bass, one of the best for UTSA at getting into the backfield. Bass had 8 tackles last week against FIU.
Yeah, he's able to circle around his block there and get into the backfield. But UAB is doing exactly what we thought they would do, what UTSA thought they would do, and they're just handing the ball to big number 28.
And he is big, 6 foot 235, squats nearly 600, benches 365. Erdley himself charging forward, and he's thrown into the end zone. It's a touchdown for A.J. Early, his 11th rushing touchdown to tie Joe Webb for the QB record at UAB.
Yeah, C.J. Levine for UTSA actually read this pretty well, but you watch here, he didn't get a good lick on him, and he's able to just go into the end zone there for the touchdown, and a nice run there by Early, who is the second leading rusher on this UAB team.
Adds that threat, the versatility, because he maybe is as effective as a rusher as he is passer. It was quick for UAB, 6 plays, 28 yards, capped off by that extra point from Nick Vogel, and it's 7-0 UAB. Heavy dose of the ground game. Spencer Brown charging, and then A.J. Early caps it off. UAB up early. UAB forced 3 turnovers last week in a 52-21 win over Rice. They forced a turnover on UTSA's first possession and take a 7-0 lead. And there's the architect who has rebuilt the program, Bill Clark, in his 2nd season. Not sure we have enough time to give justice to what Bill Clark has done to rebuild this UAB program, but we will try to adequately tell that story throughout the course of this broadcast. Hired in 2014, took them to a 6-6 season, only to find out the program was canceled, and then stayed through to rebuild it back up in their first year back this season. A nice return by Winnigan. Again, he's always a danger to break loose and take one to the house. He gets that out in decent field position for UTSA, where Dalton Sturm will start the 2nd drive of the game for the Roadrunners.
The bad news is Dalton Sturm made a horrible decision on the first drive. The good news is he's a senior, he's a competitor, and he is going to be a guy out there that UTSA can count on to try to turn this thing around.
Yeah, it was the rare interception for Sturm, just his 3rd this season. But he's really done it all this year for the Roadrunners. Looking down the field, some contact tipped away. And Greg Campbell Jr. comes up looking for a call.
Very well timed there by Harris. It was close, Mike.
That's Bronte Harris, a redshirt freshman, getting the start. D.A. Williams did not make the trip. He was their starting cornerback. No, Harris slides in. Had the tight pressure there on Campbell Jr.
I do like what Frank Wilson did there, though. After throwing an interception, he allows Dalton to throw on the very next play.
And off to Rhodes, he is met right at the line of scrimmage. Shaq Jones. This guy, really the heart and soul of the UAB program. We'll talk about him coming up in just a couple of minutes, and we'll have more on him throughout the broadcast. But all first half scoring summaries are presented by Gunn Automotive Group, and you can see UAB's touchdown drive, 6 plays, 28 yards, capped off by the A.J. Early 4-yard rushing touchdown, his 11th rushing touchdown this season. And now a big 3rd down for UTSA. Sturm steps up, throws it away from the on-charging Shaq Jones, and Bronte Harris again was all over Campbell Jr., and it's a 3-and-out for the Roadrunners.
Yeah, he goes through his first couple of reads there and nothing there, and then Sturms tries to extend the play with his legs, but the pressure was still on. The only open man he thought he had was out of the backfield, and that was a quick 3-and-out here by UTSA.
Yanni Rootsis back there, averaging about 42 yards per punt. Had a long of 61 at North Texas, and he'll kick to the very dangerous Andre Wilson. Played at Judson High School. Wilson pointing everyone off. And that's going to take a nice roll. Still going down inside the 25 and right at the 20-yard line, and then an extra roll for emphasis for Yanni Rootsis, a 57-yard punt for the Roadrunners. The UAB defense holds firm. We'll see what the Blazers do on possession 2. They're up by 7. UAB set to start its 2nd possession. A little bit longer of a field to go with. And tonight's game time conditions are brought to you by John Wayne Service Company. When you need heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical help, make just one call to fix it all. Call 210-293-6700. Early out of the backfield, right again to Donnie Lee. Tackled after a short gain. Anthony Hickey got in there along with Austin Juppy.
Well, UAB could really set the tone for this game if they can get a drive here, Mike. UTSA relies so heavily on their defense, and the Roadrunners are going to try to come up big here to flip the field and get good field position.
Eardley looking left, throws it high and in and out of the hands of Ronnie Turner. Tight coverage by Nate Gaines, and again, Juppy was all over it. That's the first incompletion by Eardley. He started 2 for 2. Last week against Rice, he set the Conference USA completion percentage record, went 20 for 21, 95.2%. And the Blazers, 1 for 1 on third down. They're averaging 48%, one of the best marks in the conference, 8th best in the nation. Whistles blow the play dead.
Early start there from UAB. That was a really pretty ball, though, by
offense, number 44. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Despite the incompletion, Eardley's pass was beautiful.
He has a couple of options at receiver. Turner, Colin Lisa, and Sedarian Copeland have all provided nice support for Andre Wilson, who leads the team with 6 touchdowns this year. Blazers do average about 60 penalty yards per game. Push back here. There's a charging carry by James Noble III. Not going to do much, though, and UTSA's defense is going to get off the field.
Very conservative call there on third down and long. I think UAB just didn't want to make a mistake there. They know that UTSA is a turnover-causing machine with their defense, but the Roadrunners should get good field position here.
First half scoreboard is sponsored by John Wayne Service Company. Just one call to fix it all. AC, plumbing, electrical, and heating. Call 210-293-6700. Short kick, Brady Jones for the fair catch. And indeed, they do get good field position, the 45-yard line for UTSA to take over. Well, that's where the Roadrunners will have it. They trail 7-0. Big Conference USA West Division matchup. Blazers lead early. Great field position for UTSA to start its third drive of the game. But an uncharacteristic start for Dalton Sturm, 0 for 3 with an interception. Handoff again, Greg Campbell Jr. Open space down the left side, and Campbell Jr. cuts back. Campbell Jr.'s got space, and there he goes all the way inside the 20. That's what the Roadrunners need to jumpstart the offense.
That is a great call by UTSA. There were 5 down linemen, 3 linebackers. Everybody's packed in real tight. So what does UTSA do? They fake it inside. They run the end around the reverse, and Campbell makes it work all the way down to inside the 20-yard line.
37-yard carry on the end around for Campbell Jr. There's Jalen Rose trying to dive through the middle. Tackled by Thomas Johnston, a freshman from Spanish Fort, Alabama. And again, the true freshman, so rare on this UAB team that had to go out and get transfers in 2015 and 2016 to build this program when they were trying to come back after the program was literally canceled in 2014.
What was amazing is that 15 of those players stayed behind and were on campus playing football, but not games, just practice for 2 years for those 15.
And those coaches called them the heart and soul of this Blazers program. Dive up the middle for Rhodes. That brings us to tonight's San Antonio Chevy Dealers UTSA team trivia question. When was the last time UAB and UTSA faced off in football? Well, I didn't know that was the question. I brought it up at the start of the broadcast. So if you were listening actively, you should know that. We will reveal that a little bit later. The last time, and actually the only time, they've met in football.
Just seeing if they're paying attention.
Yeah. Roadrunners 0 for 1 on third down tonight. Sturm has to escape, dives forward, spins, and tried to get out of the tackle, but he is brought down by Fitzgerald Beaufort.
Beaufort just by the jersey there. Stearns was very close to escaping there as he made the decision pretty early into that, Mike, to tuck and run. And he got to the right hash mark here for the right-footed kicker as the Roadrunners try to get on the board here.
This is recently named Groza Award semifinalist Jared Sackett. 42 yards out, and it's good. The Roadrunners do take advantage of good field position. UAB defense tightens up with a big hitting play to Greg Campbell Jr. leads to a field goal. UAB on top, 7-3, midway through the first. UTSA on the scoreboard after the 28-yard field goal by Jared Sackett. Now 13 for 15 on field goals this year. And we agree, a salute to all military and veterans today on this Veterans Day. We appreciate everything they do, all those who serve and who have served. The first kickoff tonight for UTSA. A couple of dangerous ones back there for the Blazers. Jonathan Hayden and Andre Wilson. And that one goes into the end zone where it's not taken out by anyone. And for those of you watching tonight, if UTSA scores more tonight, you can score for less Sunday and Monday at Mattress and Furniture for Less. If the Roadrunners score 24 or more points in tonight's game, you'll get a 15% discount Sunday and Monday at all 3 Mattress and Furniture for Less locations in San Antonio, where it's beautiful inside. Now UAB back onto the field. This is an offense that scored touchdowns on its first 6 possessions against Rice last week, but facing a much stouter UTSA defense that ranks first in the conference in a number of categories. Eardley's got all day, flips it out to the backfield. There it is, caught and then knocked out of bounds. Kalen Carter after a good little scurry down the sideline.
And Carter was one that came in motion. They faked the jet sweep to him, and he became a receiver on that play. Picks up a first down for the Blazers.
Fakes the handoff up the middle, gets out of a tackle, and then CJ Levine throws him down, but Eardley charged forward a little more. And this is a guy that really can get it done on the ground in addition to passing. He is actually their second leading rusher, as you mentioned, Bobby, earlier. And what's so strange about UAB, they have come into this game having rushed for more yards than passed for yards. Entered the game 1,888 rushing yards, only 1,700 passing yards. And there's Brown, isolation, and Brown got right by the outstretched arms of Carl Austin III.
Well, I had a feeling as Brown's able to pick up the first down there that yards after contact were going to be huge in this game. You got Eardley, the big quarterback, Brown, the big running back, and they have bounced off of some UTSA tackles so far and got the extra yards. And there Brown showed the speed to get outside and pick up the first down.
Pete Golding, UTSA's defensive coordinator, called Spencer Brown a Maurice Clarett freshman year lookalike. Just big and tough to take down. There he is again, charging forward inside the 40-yard line. It was funny, the UAB coaches compared him to Jordan Howard, a man he's chasing, trying to break all of his Blazers records. And the UTSA coaches said, well, he looks like on film he's going to be tough to tackle like Maurice Clarett was his freshman year at Ohio State.
Yeah, he's a big back. He reminds me size-wise of Eddie George. Maybe not the speed of Eddie George, but certainly the power.
It's been a heavy ground game so far for the Blazers. They work into UTSA territory. Brown again. Stutter steps, gets through one tackle, and is tied up by Carl Austin III.
UAB is doing exactly what they set out to do so far. Run the ball right at UTSA, and the Roadrunners have been pushed off the line of scrimmage here, and UAB has the run game going.
Another first down for UAB. Here they come again. There is space on the sideline. And Carl Austin III has been busy trying to take Spencer Brown down, but Brown keeps charging forward. 14-yard gain by the freshman.
Mike, look at this great replay coming right at you, and they're taking football down to the lowest common denominator here, which is smash you at the line of scrimmage, smash you with a big running back, smash you with a big quarterback, and UAB right now is controlling this game.
Yeah, only 4 pass attempts, 11 rushing attempts. Make it 12 now. Here's Wilson. Space for the San Antonio native as he dives inside the 10-yard line.
Can you believe that's his first carry of the season? And we talked about it in the pregame. Find ways to get him the ball. They do it on the end around. They had set that up a couple of times, and there's the Thunder and Lightning, the big quarterback, the big running back. Then you give it to Lightning there, and he picks up a first down.
And now they give it to, I guess, yeah, you call him Thunder then, and that's going to be Lightning with Wilson. Spencer Brown powering forward.
Back to the Thunder, and why not, Mike? UTSA hasn't really stopped it.
They are just slowly marching right through UTSA. Remember, this one started all the way back in their own territory, and they marched all the way down the field. Started at the 25-yard line, and here they are inside the 10. Erdley probing, but he's tied up.
Quarterback A.J. Erdley.
This is a really big third down for the UTSA defense. UAB hasn't really thrown the ball, Mike, tonight, but this is a situation where they're going to need to try to get into the end zone.
Yeah, 10th play of the drive and a third down. Blazers 1 for 2 tonight on third down conversions. Erdley steps back, flings to the sideline, wide open, and into the end zone, Ronnie Turner.
Well, that crossing route is so hard to defend when you flood the other side of the field and then you bring Turner across, and a good read there and enough time to get that pass off. Well executed play there by UAB. You'll see most of the receivers on the left side of the field, and then coming across the middle is Turner, wide open for the touchdown.
Marcus Davenport almost got there as well, but Erdley got it off just in time. And UAB extends the lead. 6-yard touchdown pass to Turner. That's his first touchdown of the season. And UAB goes on top after the 10-play, or extends the lead after the 10-play, 75-yard drive. And right now, before we have the kickoff, let's go down to the sidelines. We're joined by the third member of our sideline crew, Aaron Carreño.
Hey guys, y'all had mentioned earlier on that Jordan Howard was a big comparison with UAB's coaches to Spencer Brown. When talking to the coaches earlier this week, they did say that Jordan Howard and J.J. Nelson do come around and speak to the guys very often. He also says that Jordan Brown is one of the guys, and J.J. Nelson, one of the guys that had left in 2014, but obviously, the name still stands big at UAB because he did break a bunch of rushing records, and his name is still there, and Spencer Brown is taking him down right now.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Yeah, the thing you kind of forget about, too, with UAB, with getting the program shut down, that was a good team. They got shut down in 2014. They were 6-6 in just Bill Clark's first year. Yeah, Jordan Howard transferred to Indiana. They lost a number of other guys from that team. So who knows what would have happened with everyone coming back in 2015.
For what they're doing now, 2 years later, Coach Brown has done an incredible job with this program. They look very sharp here tonight. You know, all season long, Mike, I don't know that we've seen anybody quite smash the UTSA defense like UAB is right now. They are just blowing them off the ball. UTSA is going to have to get much more aggressive in run support if they are going to try to stop the Blazers here tonight. There's confusion.
Timeout UAB. David Reeves, their defensive coordinator, was very candid when he talked to us earlier in the week. He said it was like calculus 4 trying to put together a roster because your program was canceled December 2nd, the exact date, December 2nd, 2014. And yeah, while it came back, they said it was coming back about 6 months later. When it gets canceled, you don't know that it's coming back. So all their guys left. And then this coaching staff, they said they had to go and figure out not just the class with the immediacy, but how to build so they wouldn't lose anyone the next year that they were all eligible.
And 15 of them stayed, and 2 of these defenders, Shaq Jones, a linebacker that may get drafted as well, Darius Williams, a corner, 2 of the leaders on this defense, they were 2 of the 15 that decided to stay. So that was a good place to start in building your defense.
And they have been tremendously productive this year. Tyrell Clay gets it on the misdirection. Got out of 1 tackle and then was stood up and thrown back, right back at the line of scrimmage.
It's been a mix and match for UTSA on their offensive line this season due to injuries. And right now, again, controlling the line of scrimmage is what UAB has done on both sides of the ball so far.
Tyrell Clay has been a great addition off the bench this year. Another former walk-on. Had a career high 153 yards last time the Roadrunners were here at home. There's a pass behind Brady Jones. Dalton Sturm again running out of traffic. And Sturm has now started 0 for 4. This is a guy that is one of the best in completion percentage in Conference USA. In fact, leads the conference with a 65% completion percentage, but has not connected on anything yet.
I like the idea of rolling him out, though, giving him that run-pass option, because he is a very effective runner when he decides to tuck and run. Here's a huge 3rd down for UTSA to stay in it in this first quarter.
Sturm steps up, has to escape again. Going to the sideline, Sturm's a good runner. There he goes down the sideline, and Dalton Sturm does it with his legs. He had a game-high 82 yards rushing last week at FIU, and that scamper gives UTSA the first down.
Well, again, UAB has covered very, very well. Sturm, instead of throwing it up for grabs like he did on the first drive, as he stepped out a little earlier than we might have thought on that run, but still a first down run. Good decision there by Sturm, and maybe that will get this UTSA offense going.
As Sturm entered with 464 yards rushing this year, right behind Jalen Rhodes and Tyrell Clay. Pass is tipped and almost intercepted. Garrett Marino deflected at the line, and then Shaq Jones almost made a diving interception.
Yeah, low pass there from Dalton Sturm, trying to drop it off in the middle of the field. And that's a big defensive front that he's trying to throw over.
And Marino, a redshirt sophomore from Mission Viejo, California, was actually the first recruit to sign in 2015 when the program was getting back together. They had the 2 years of just practicing. He was the first recruit to sign with head coach Bill Clark. Moving the pocket again, Clay is wrapped up in the backfield.
Tyrell Clay, 22 on the carry.
That was a combination of Chico Powell and Shaq Jones. Jones, the guy that always gets in the backfield, 10.5 tackles for loss this year.
Well, he just made a great read there and flew to the football. He saw the counter block coming out in front that time of Jalen Rhodes and able to get there quickly. Another 3rd down conversion opportunity here for UTSA.
Roadrunners 1 for 3 on 3rd downs tonight. Heavy pressure, lob over the top to Rhodes. Space down the left sideline. Rhodes upended before midfield. A valiant tackle on that far side.
Harris able to get over there in time. UTSA had that fairly well set up with blockers in front of Jalen Rhodes, but good closing speed that time by Bronte Harris. He's just a freshman.
But the 3rd down conversion not completed for UTSA, and they'll bring a timeout on the field. Blazers set to get this one back. They lead 14-3 here in the first. UTSA set to punt the ball away. UAB controlled time of possession in that first half. And the UTSA offensive struggles continue. That's now 4 straight games without offensive touchdown in the first quarter. Wilson lets that one bounce. It'll be touchdown by Carl Lawson III. So nice punting has kind of helped UTSA out. Yanni Roots has had a big punt earlier that led to a short field for the Roadrunners to get their only score.
Yeah, the 58-yarder earlier flipped the field to give UTSA some field position. They're able to get a field goal out of it. He's flipped the field again. The last time UTSA had UAB pinned back this deep, they were able to get them into a 3-and-out to get that good field position. And so far, UAB has dominated this game, but it could turn very quickly if UTSA can get a stop here.
Yeah, this is still a UTSA defense. First in the conference in rush defense, allowing just 119 yards per game, and first in overall defense. But here's a big charge by Spencer Brown, diving close to the first down marker.
Mike, I can't say it enough how much UAB has dominated the line of scrimmage. We know Brown's a big, powerful back, but look at the big guys up front going to work to open a lane there for him to run through to pick up that first down.
Brown entered the game over 1,000 yards this season, second most for any freshman running back in college football. Flip out of the backfield, but nothing there and no room, right back to the line of scrimmage. So the second quarter of CSN football is presented by the San Antonio Express News, bringing you the real facts since 1865. 14-3 ball game. UAB with just 2 conference losses. One of those to North Texas, and one to Charlotte in overtime. Around to Donnie Lee, hops over one tackle, and then stood up and thrown down after a short gain. And it'll bring up another third down. And UAB, normally very good, nearly 50%, has continued to be pretty effective. 2 for 3 on third down tonight, but it looks like Nate Gaines is down in the field. So before that one, they're going to look at one of their better players in the secondary, senior Nate Gaines, who has 3 interceptions this year and 29 tackles. So while Gaines gets looked at, we will step aside. A big third down conversion coming up for UAB. The Blazers lead 14-3. Now Nate Gaines hobbles off for UTSA. And that's a defense now losing some key players. This is the 3rd straight game that Josiah Tauaefa has missed since he injured his knee back here against Rice. Erdley moves the pocket. There's Marcus Davenport, but Erdley's going to get around him and takes a good shot and knocks down a couple of UTSA defenders in the process.
It's pretty good awareness by Erdley. I believe he has the first down. Depends on the spot. They will move the chains just enough. And for UTSA, Mike, to lose Nate Gaines with already the loss of Tauaefa, they're starting to lose some of the leadership on this defense. Good decision there to pick up the first down.
Those are a couple of seniors, Gaines and Tauaefa, not a senior, but a couple of experienced players on the UTSA defense. And one thing that Pete Golding mentioned, though, is that in replacing Tauaefa, he likes what the linebackers have done because they have replaced him with seniors, Marcos Curry and Anthony Hickey, and Curry there with the tackle. So he said it wasn't as big of an adjustment process breaking in linebackers to replace your star there.
No doubt about it, and I'm really surprised at how easily, honestly, that UAB has run the football. They had close to 100 yards rushing in the first quarter, 87 to be exact, and they continue that trend here in the second.
Brown trying to find some space, dives forward close to the marker, and it will be close while they measure. Let's go back down to the sidelines. Aaron Carreño.
Yeah, you just saw Nate Gaines go off the field. He did get checked out by the doctors. It looked like underneath his left knee, but he was able to walk, and he does have his helmet back on. It looks like he's getting to go back into the game sometime soon, guys.
All right, thanks, Aaron. And Andrew Martell in right now. He's a redshirt sophomore. Martell has an interception this year that came against Southern. And that's another first down by UAB, and it's just been a slow grind and a march down the field. There's an aggressive charge, though, by Darryl Godfrey and LaCale Bass to try to stifle Spencer Brown.
And I believe that's what's going to have to happen here, is try to force, if you're UTSA, force some more passes here when you can't just let them run right at you there. And you saw Godfrey come up and run support quickly there, and there UAB only a yard gain.
Brown is a workhorse, had 33 carries and went for 209 against Southern Miss. He's got 12, 13 for 77 in this one. Erdley, quick toss to the sidelines. It's Colin Lisa. His first reception, and he's pushed out after a short gain.
When do you see that anymore in college football? One guy getting that many carries. I saw an old replay of South Carolina and Georgia when Herschel Walker got the ball every play. George Rogers got the ball every play for South Carolina. That's kind of UAB's thing is we got a horse, let's ride him. But I would be surprised to see Brown get a carry here on third and a really long forward.
Well, I say even horses need a water break. He runs out, and Donnie Lee checks in. The Alamo trying to get fired up. Bill Clark talked about this being one of the loudest places he's been in. And that might have just forced the timeout. It did. UAB calls it second timeout. The crowd,
It will be 30
the
seconds.
loudest we've heard it since kickoff.
Well, you know, there aren't a whole lot of college football teams that play in dome stadiums. And even if you have, whether you have 30,000 or 10,000, you can have a lot of noise in the stadium.
Big third down coming up. UAB's been good on third downs, 3 for 4 tonight. Around the left side, there's the first down gain and more, and a huge run by Kalen Carter to push them into UTSA territory.
Just the jet sweep, they get everybody packed in. UTSA used that effectively earlier, and now UAB
first down.
with the end around. The jet sweep, as they call it in modern day football.
And 18, it goes for 18. 18-yard gain for Kalen Carter. 4 for 5 now on third down conversions for the Blazers. Fake that jet sweep, and there's Brown right up the middle, but into a horde of blue-clad jerseys, and he had nowhere to go.
Good discipline that time by UTSA. It's kind of window dressing when you send a guy out there and fake it to him, but they showed earlier, just a play before, that they can get the edge on that jet sweep. So that makes the linebackers pause for just a minute, but they were able to field quickly there and limit Brown to 1 yard.
21 rush attempts by UAB, just 7 passes. There's Wilson again following the blocker, and Wilson gets the first down scurry. And that continues to be an effective play for UAB tonight.
And we talk about how good of a running back Brown is. How good of a blocker was he there for Andre Wilson to spring that play for a UAB first down. A complete back will also block. And in that particular instance, that was a great block by Spencer Brown to allow for that first down.
UAB has ate up the clock with these long, time-consuming and high play drives. Here's Early, time to throw, going down the sideline, and it is hauled in. Waiting for the ruling. Looks like he was out of bounds.
Great catch, though.
Yeah,
as you said, Mike.
that's the thing. You make such a good play, you feel like they should be rewarded somehow for just making the effort. But tremendous effort there. Early guy actually dropped it at the end there. So caught it, didn't hold it through the ground, and yeah, the ground can cause the incomplete pass.
On the singles cord, he's out of bounds. On the doubles cord, he would have been in bounds. He did drop it anyways, but nice throw and catch.
They'll go back to the run and open space. So Donnie Lee's going to get the opportunity again. Lee on his feet, going towards the 5-yard line. And Donnie Lee couldn't hold on to the pass this time. Gets inside the 5 after, just outside the 5 after a gain of 20.
They have gone to him today. He only had 18 rushes coming in, but watch the edge get sealed there because UTSA was on a stunt. Marcus Davenport jetted towards the quarterback, so the angle was bad to try to stop Donnie Lee, and he's able to get around the edge very quickly, and now it's 1st and goal for the Blazers.
Early walking back under center. Brown right back in next to it. Has the carry. Nothing there though. Balin Baker engulfed him.
Mike, this is such an important defensive series for UTSA to try to keep it within 2 scores. UAB can go up by 3 scores with a touchdown here, and UTSA's offense hasn't shown the life to try to get back in the game from a 21-3 deficit. 17-3, not so bad. 21-3 would be very difficult.
Early the fake to Brown, swing it out to the left side, and UAB doesn't get much. Tried to go misdirection again, and that time UTSA was ready for it.
Well, earlier in the game on the touchdown pass to Ronnie Turner, they were about in the same spot here. It was at the 6-yard line. They were able to get that crossing route as they flooded the zone on one side, came back the other way on the crossing route, and they were in a similar position before.
Early also has a 4-yard touchdown run for the 14 points of the Blazers. Early takes it himself, trying to push the pile forward, and he got close, but just short.
He followed Brown there through the left side. Those big bodies pushing big bodies. Very close, and when you have a running back that's 230 pounds and a big offensive line, it is almost impossible to not give in to the temptation to go for it here on 4th and goal.
Yeah, everyone on that O-line over 300 pounds. And whistles blow this play dead. Frank Wilson wants to talk it over for UTSA. As you mentioned, a huge situation here. Big difference between 17 points, 21 points, or not even anything. So we'll see on a big 4th down conversion for UAB and UTSA. Blazers lead by 11. At halftime, Aaron Carino will bring us the Homevestors halftime show. Need to sell your home quickly? Call Homevestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people, 1-800-44-BUYER. UAB 3 for 9 on 4th downs this year. Eardley keeps it, dives forward, and the pile pushes. The ball came loose, but touchdown signal from the sideline, and A.J. Eardley has his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. UAB goes on top 20-3.
Not surprising there, Mike. Marcus Davenport took the ball away, but not before it crossed the plane. Touchdown UAB. Why do anything different? That was 17 plays and on that drive, and all of them but 3 were rushing plays.
It was an emphatic charge straight down the heart of the UTSA defense. 17 plays, 14 runs in an 8-minute and 26-second drive. Right now they are reviewing this. Every play reviewed was indicated, all right, touchdown, so carry on. So an 89-yard drive in over 8 minutes here in this 2nd quarter. And a PAT pushed home by Nick Vogel.
That was impressive.
Now UAB has charged on top 21-3. 6:24 left in the first half. We'll see how UTSA responds up next. It's 21-3 UAB, and with that touchdown, A.J. Early sets the single-season touchdown rushing record. He tied Joe Webb with his rushing touchdown to begin the game. Now with his 12th, he has sole possession of that. Early, the redshirt junior, spent a couple of years at Middle Tennessee and then 2015 at Mississippi Gulf Coast before getting here in 2016. And like every Blazer, spending that whole year just practicing. No games, just a full year of practice for UAB as they got the program back to what it is now. Let's take a look at the Conference USA standings. They're brought to you by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. UAB has 2 conference losses by a combined 4 points. They lost by a point at Charlotte and by 3 points at North Texas. But the Mean Green of North Texas actually just wrapped up the West Division title with a 45-10 win against UTEP. So that will be North Texas as a representative. And in the East, FAU, the Fighting Lane Kiffins, 6-0, trying to be the surprise of Conference USA. And has any coach had more fun this year, I think, than Lane Kiffin, just on Twitter with his team? He is embraced his next opportunity to be a head coach.
I like that,
He's
Mike.
taking advantage of the Owls.
Did you just change their mascot to the Fighting Lane Kiffin? That's awesome. I agree with that. What a great story that is.
They have rallied behind him for sure.
We are watching one of the great stories in college football right here tonight in UAB. I think they spent those 2 years in the weight room, as big and powerful as this team is.
UTSA trying to answer before the half. They really have not trailed like this all year. This has been a new situation for UTSA, a defense that hadn't allowed more than 14 points in the last 3 games. As you see the scoring summary, just the emphatic march down the field, 17 plays, 89 yards in 8.5 minutes. But UTSA's losses also very close. They had the 2-point loss to Southern Miss, the 3-point loss at North Texas, and then the 7-point loss last week. Trailed by 14 at FIU, but right now it's an 18-point deficit. Sturm fires to Stewart, and he hangs on. Big reception by Josh Stewart, the team's leading receiver. Gets across the 40-yard line. 15-yard pass and catch from Sturm to Stewart.
The rush came late there. You see Sturms get it away on the end, and Stewart picks up a first down. UTSA is going to need a lot more of that to get back in this.
Sturm looking to the side. Jones tried to haul it in. One-arm attempt goes or not.
Well, it's still early, Mike, but I don't believe UTSA has been physically dominated like this by anyone on their schedule, and that's a credit to UAB. They've come out and executed their game plan, and they've been the more physical team.
Yeah, only 79 yards of total offense for UTSA. That, I think, is one of the more surprising stats. Only 20 passing yards for the Roadrunners.
Offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
But, Mike, for UAB to have 198 yards total offense, but a whopping, and I mean a whopping, 169 yards rushing against UTSA, and we're still in the first half. That's a staggering number.
Second and long, UTSA needs the 49 of UAB. Sturm, couple of fakes, and a nice play action fake to get it to Brady Jones, and get a good haul in the back. Almost had the first. Jones gets to midfield.
Sturm's trying to heat up here as they hurry to line and trying to quickly get to the next play.
And this is a tempo we haven't really seen from UTSA this year as well. Tyrell Clay dives forward to get the first. Tackled by Marshawn Diggs.
That was a hurry up because of the 3rd and 1. They didn't want UAB to switch their personnel to a goal line style defense. They didn't have the right personnel out there. UTSA able to run the ball at them there to pick up the first down.
Sturm's got time, steps up, throws to the sideline, and a ball almost hauled in by Tyrell Clay, despite good defense. And the home crowd wants a flag. They are searching frantically, and Tevin Cruz locked down Tyrell Clay.
Well, I don't think the folks here in San Antonio agreed with the non-call there, but UAB has been in tight coverage all along. As you take a look, it was kind of a jump ball there, and there was a lot of contact on that play. Broderick Thomas locked up with the Roadrunner receiver there, but no penalty flag.
And another penalty on the Roadrunners.
Ball start. Offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And when you have a play like that, the play before, where you thought you had a pass interference, you didn't get it, now you see some negative body language there from UTSA, followed by a penalty. The Roadrunners have to try to shake that off and get to the next play.
And back into their own territory. Jalen Rhodes has also come back into the game. And the handoff goes to him. Rhodes is met and drilled backwards. And that's Marshawn Diggs making the stop.
Number 5.
Diggs Diggs, the redshirt junior from Washington, D.C., is the younger brother of Stephon Diggs, the Minnesota Vikings.
You see there, he's playing safety. He didn't respect the pass one iota there. He came on the run field immediately on that play, and it's a loss and a long third down coming here for the Roadrunners.
Roadrunners 3 for 6 on third downs. They've converted both this drive, though. And Sturm hauls it over the middle. It's knocked away at the last moment. Garrison Mitchell got in to deflect the pass intended for Brady Jones.
Very well played that time by Garrison Mitchell. Reaches up with the left arm and bats that away. Had perfect position to do that, and we still have 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Already 21-3. UAB. They'll have the ball back with a lot of time left on the clock.
Danny Rutsis has been very solid, though. 50-plus yard punts. And this one takes a nice roll around the 10, where it's then touchdown. So UAB will have to go pretty far here. Well, tonight's Conference USA scoreboard is brought to you by HEB. No score does more than HEB. FAU still unbeaten with a smashing of La Tech, 48-23, and Southern Miss keeps pace with UAB with a win 43-34 over Rice. And there's the clinching win for North Texas, 45-10 over winless UTEP. So North Texas wins the West Division, and they're the representative in the CUSA title game from the West.
Mean Green have come a long ways from last year. They came in here last year against UTSA and took a whipping, and they've turned it around this season to win their half of the conference.
A lot of good second-year head coaches around this league. You have Frank Wilson here. You have Bill Clark at UAB right there on the sideline, and Seth Luttrell at North Texas might be the coach of the year. Actually, no, Bill Clark's got to be the coach of the year, right? Taking this team after they haven't played in 2 years to a bowl-eligible team with 6 wins right now.
I think he's got to be in contention for coach of the year in the nation, but a UAB program doesn't have quite the national status to be able to get that, but certainly not because he's not deserving.
And he talked about all the runs. 28 rushing attempts, and it's been Spencer Brown really churning up the yardage and the carries. So 15 carries in the first half for Brown, the undisputable workhorse. There he is again. Shoved off Davenport and is still going on the near sideline. Finally gets upended by C.J. Levine. You don't often see an offensive player get the best of Marcus Davenport, someone that these UAB coaches really were high on and said they have to be aware of where he is in the field at every play and at all times.
Well, he makes something out of nothing there, but he did run out of bounds. Clock stopped for a moment, and that kind of saved UTSA from having to use a timeout. If they can get a stop here, they're going to get the ball back before the half.
But UAB's 4 for 6 tonight on third down conversions. Jonathan Hayden takes it. He's got blocking room. Hayden trying to find space. He will run out of it. Knocked out of bounds by Darryl Godfrey. And there you go, stopping the clock again. So UTSA is going to have significant time and timeouts.
And really the mistake there from Jonathan Hayden was not just, he wasn't going to make the corner. He should have known that, gone down inbounds or tried to cut it back. And that would have forced UTSA to use their second timeout. Now they don't have to use it. The Roadrunners will have 2 timeouts, and they should get really good field position here.
The left guard, Rashard Cook, just limped off the field. 6'3", 340, part of that big offensive line that has carved out all this space tonight for UAB. He just went off limping to his sideline. It's the punt by Dixon. High one, pushing back Jones. Didn't call fair catch, takes a couple big hits, and Jones is railroaded back inside the 30-yard line.
That's what happens when you are going for the block and don't get it. The coverage was downfield. They came pretty close there to blocking that punt, but consequently the coverage guys were freed up to run down the field. They got there quickly, and that was a beautiful punt, by the way. UTSA, I'm sure, expected better field position than what they're getting here, but they have 1:39 and 2 timeouts. I would expect some more, Mike, of that hurry-up style offense, the empty backfield here for Dalton Sturm, and a little more open game here for the Roadrunners.
Well, coming up at halftime, Aaron Carreño will bring us the Homevestors halftime show. Need to sell your home quickly? Call Homevestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people, 1-800-44-BUYER. The Roadrunners, a minute 39 and a couple of timeouts to work with. Sturm has some time, now has to scramble. And he is wrapped up and sacked by Shaq Jones.
Shaq Jones is a great football player. To be that big and that fast, Dalton Sturm is no turtle. And Shaq Jones just tracks him down there. And we get a timeout on the field. Watch this closing speed here after Sturm scrambles. Couldn't get to the sidelines, and that will force a timeout from UTSA.
Third sack this year for Jones. He had 12.5 tackles for a loss and 3 sacks in 2014 before the program shut down. Stayed with it, part of that core, the core 15 that stayed with UTSA from 2014 all the way through now.
And he has a special story too, as well, a part of this special program here at UAB.
Empty backfield for Sturm. Has to escape once again. Sturm scrambling to the sideline, and he is going to just get out. But UAB has forced some chaos inside, and Dalton Sturm hasn't been comfortable back there all night.
Well, when you can rush 4 and get that kind of pressure on Dalton Sturm, you're doing your job up front for UAB. 7 guys in coverage, so there's nobody open. And if they can continue to get that kind of pressure with 3 or 4 guys rushing, it's going to be a really long night for the Roadrunners.
Only 34 yards passing for UTSA. Third and long. Sturm over the middle. Stewart in and out, tipped away, and there's a flag that comes flying. And then a couple of flags. It was knocked away by Darius Williams. Flag came flying after the initial knockaway, and then another flag as the players continued to skirmish.
I think we're going to have a penalty after the play, but UAB has walked the fine line tonight on timing, the breakups of passes there, and Darius Williams this time got there just a fraction too early. So we're going to have pass interference, and I believe maybe something after that.
Pass interference, defense, number 10. Spot foul, automatic, first down.
Or just everybody wanted to throw their flag.
And I think it was 1, not 10, because it was Williams who was all over Josh Stewart, and he was the one draped on his back. But Garrison Mitchell gets charged for the foul there. Either way, it's a first down for UTSA with a minute 15 left in the first half. Sturm firing long, another contacted play and another flag. Jordan Petty knocked into Marquez McNair. And now the flags are flying. Back-to-back pass interference calls on UAB.
Number 17, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, UAB's arguing that the ball wasn't catchable. As you see coach on the sideline saying that wasn't a catchable ball. It was overthrown, but the pattern was broken up by Petty running into the receiver. And maybe even on the breakoff there. That's a tough break for UAB.
Sturm, plenty of time. Stepping around in the pocket. Steps up, keeps it himself. Sturm's got some space, and he slides down near the 30. And now he wants to move quickly. No hesitation here from Dalton Sturm.
Short of the first down, so the clock keeps running.
Under a minute left, UTSA with 1 timeout. Still a good chunk of yardage to go, though, to get to the end zone. Sturm airing it down the sideline, jump ball, and whistles blow the play dead.
There was a timeout.
There's no play. The previous play is under review.
All right.
but very late to have that whistle, and that's what Frank Wilson is not happy about.
Well, from the very beginning there, Mike, Coach Brown was saying that was not a catchable football. I didn't know you could review that, but on the pass interference, the ball was overthrown by a good 10 yards or more. And so they may waive off the pass interference.
Well, I think they're looking at the spot on Stern's run, right?
Yeah, there's a play after that. So they have run the play. So I'm not really sure what they're reviewing here.
I think they're looking to see if Sturm got the first down on the slide or was short, because the marker changed. So, here's the thing. We thought he was short. The marker, I believe, changed, so now they're looking at it.
And my mistake there, you obviously can't review the play before because they have run a play since.
And they were reviewing a targeting call, we were just told.
Well, he was sliding. Yeah, but you lead with the head.
Well, that's interesting that they would go back and review that, because it initially was not ruled targeting. And that's where the confusion comes in.
No flags on the field.
You can review a targeting call, I thought, only if it was called targeting. And it certainly wasn't, because there was no penalty marching UTSA 15 yards further. And there was no ejection, or there was no warning at the time, or ejection. But to go back and then review that is something we haven't seen.
After review, there's no penalty for targeting. It'll be 2nd down and 2 at the 32-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 44 seconds.
You got to be real careful not to lead with the helmet. And that was very close to leading with a helmet. Earlier today at Oklahoma State, an Iowa State game, Trey Flowers was ejected from the game from Oklahoma State for a targeting foul that was very close and questionable. But anytime you lead with a helmet like that, that's going to raise the red flag.
Strange all around. I've never seen the opposite like that, and to wait so late. The play had literally been run. There was a pass, it was knocked away. But either way, 2nd and 2. Sturm flips it out. Marquez McNair getting loose, and a big hit out of bounds. And there's another flag. This will be the 3rd defensive penalty on UAB this drive to keep marching UTSA closer and closer to the end zone.
And since that was inside the 20, it'd be a half the distance, but a late hit coming here.
After the play, personal foul, defense, late hit out of bounds, number 22.
Roderick Thomas, redshirt junior.
First down.
Wow. And at Cisco Junior College. This is one of the more experienced teams in college football. And it's part of the reason why I think the Blazers feel like it wasn't too much of a rebuilding process. Yes, it certainly was, but the fact that they liked the experience they had with all these guys coming in who were upperclassmen. But a rare misstep there to give UTSA within striking distance with 35 seconds left in the half.
Did you see how far Marquez McNair flew in the air?
Into the band. McNair at the top of the screen. And a couple of touchdowns against Southern Miss. Sturm looking over, and Stewart got bumped on the route. And McNair is still back there talking to the back judge, asking for that call. There's definitely some contact. It's like Josh Stewart got bumped off his route and went past him.
Well, the run is not off the table here. 1st and goal just inside the 10. If you ran a draw play and you got stopped short of the goal line, you still have a timeout. But you also want to potentially save that for a field goal attempt.
Sturm lobbing it over to Stewart, leaped and knocked away by Williams. And that's playing a dangerous game going at Darius Williams, who's 8th in the country in interceptions. He's got 4 this year and in 4 straight games.
They invited that throw with a man coverage, but they had their best cover guy on the receiver there, and they had great positioning and nearly came up with the interception as that was one of the offensive players, and Josh Stewart turning into a defensive player to break it up.
Stern looking right, lobs back over to Marquez McNair. He got knocked down again, and a very late flag comes in. Everyone was looking, and then the back judge comes in to make that call. Michael Bailey threw the flag. McNair definitely got knocked down, but no one else threw the flag except Bailey. And it might be the 4th defensive penalty on UAB.
This is the craziest drive.
There is no foul for pass interference. 4th down.
Oh, obviously, the officials felt like that was incidental contact, the feet getting tripped up. And it will lead to another field goal attempt. Jarrett Sackett already made a 28-yard field goal. 13 for 15 this year. This one put outside the 16-yard line. And Sackett knocks it through. Now, not the ending UTSA may have wanted, but they get down the field and they get points with 18 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, Mike, that was a bizarre drive to say the least. The penalty flags, then the play where there may have been a targeting, but it wasn't called. The flag that was dropped on the 3rd down play that was picked up, and then all of that, it results in 3 points for the Roadrunners, but they had to get points. If they want to stay in this game, to go scoreless on that drive would have been a disaster for UTSA. At least they have the 3. They're within 2 scores again as we head to the second half here momentarily.
Yeah, you did get the points. As you mentioned, Bobby, within 2 scores, a lot of football left, and UTSA's offense has really turned it on in the second half of these last few ball games.
If you're the Roadrunners, you want to try to kick the ball out of the end zone here. You don't want to invite a return. A big return may give UAB the idea of trying to put something together here at the end. No return would mean not likely. Whoa. Whistle the play dead.
Ruling on field is a fair catch signal. 1st down,
Yeah,
UAB.
I was wondering what if they said Wilson did that. It looked like obviously he made the indication of a fair catch, and Wilson was pretty surprised as well by that call.
He didn't know.
It was not what you thought, kick it out of the end zone. Instead, it was a short angled kick.
And to one of the their most dangerous return man. That was kind of surprising. I think Andre Wilson was baffled that he apparently called for a fair catch, and now it's academic here as they'll take a knee.
Yeah,
run out the clock.
I think Wilson is more just motioning his teammates and players away. I noticed he did that on an earlier punt, but was called for the fair catch. So UAB will take that requisite knee and head into the locker room for the Blazers. They took advantage of an early interception to go up, and then didn't look back. 21-6. UAB on top, and they've done it with a couple of A.J. Erdley rushing touchdowns to take this lead on the road, looking to get their first ever win. Right now, let's go down to the sidelines with Aaron Carreño.
Coach, offensively, y'all been dominant this first half. A.J. Erdley just set a new record for rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. How do you build offensively?
Well, we just got to keep doing the second half. You know, we go in there and say it's just 0-0. Just keep playing.
Your defense has held UTSA to only 6 points. What's clicking for your team right now?
Looks like we're just playing hard. You know, I mean, obviously they're very dangerous on offense. So we've held our breath a few times, and we're going to hopefully make some adjustments, come out ready to play second half.
Good luck the rest of the way, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go right back down to Aaron in a little bit to get her started with halftime. But we will go to the second half. After this, coming up next, the Homevestors halftime show. Call Homevestors 1-800-44-FIRE. Halftime gets started after this, 21-6, UAB on top. 21-6 UAB. Before we start the third quarter, down to the sidelines, Aaron Carreño caught up with head coach Frank Wilson.
Coach, offensively, UAB got on the board. What more do you need from your team on both ends of the field?
You know, defensively, they ran 40 plays 33 of them were run plays. So they feel they have something on us. I think at the last 2 series, we made some adjustments and were able to make some tackles, but just gave up too much on the perimeter runs early on in the game, but we adjusted, and I think we'll be fine from this point on. We got our feet underneath us. Offensively, we just got to win the line of scrimmage. Too much penetration by their defensive line, not enough plays to get us moving forward from our offense at every position group. So we got to play inspired football and really work hard for victory. They're not going to give it to us.
Best of luck the rest of the half.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Aaron. UAB, they got the ball to begin the second half. That's why it was so critical that they got that opening interception. Remember, UTSA got the ball first, and the opening interception by UAB led to a touchdown. So they got on the board first as well.
They stole a possession, and UTSA hasn't. In fact, last week UTSA created 3 turnovers, didn't score off of any of them. But UAB, back to our keys to victory, has protected the ball, at least so far.
32 rushing attempts in the first half. There's Spencer Brown right out next to A.J. Erdley. And he takes it. Brown dragging LaCale Bass, and then Bass finally gets him down to the 25-yard line.
If I'm UTSA, I'm completely selling out to stop the run. Because what happened in the first half is so uncharacteristic of their defense. They've got to force UAB to throw the football a little bit more.
17 carries now for Spencer Brown. Remember, he had the 33 and the career high 209 in a win over Southern Miss on October 28th. Erdley, quick toss to the sideline. There's Ronnie Turner. Flag comes flying right on the block, and Austin Juppy was calling for it. He knew right away. Might have gotten blocked illegally.
Yeah, the lineman got over there a little bit late that time for UAB. That was number 51, I believe.
James Davis, the left tackle.
Block in the back, offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
And Juppy did a good job of turning just slightly to get the block in the back. Slightly missed time there for the Blazers.
It's a veteran move, right? You're redshirt senior, you know how to kind of angle your body to maybe sell that call a little bit.
It's a smart move. Now a real second and long. Now they have UAB where they want them, making them throw the football.
Well, instead of run. Brown again. He's going to keep carrying until he wears UTSA down. Well, tonight's third quarter of CSN football is presented by Six Flags Fiesta Texas Holiday in the Park from November 18th through January 7th. For details, visit sixflags.com.
And right on cue as I say that, they run the ball for 6 yards.
Eventually you'll have to pass though, right? Third and long. UAB needs the 32-yard line. Off again, though. Brown charging forward. Davenport was all over it, along with Andrew Martell, who came in when Nate Gaines got injured earlier in this game. And so just 3 runs, and UAB will punt it away.
Kind of shows how reluctant UAB is to throw the football there. That was an extremely conservative call on 3rd down and 12.
Brady Jones is standing at the 35-yard line. UTSA scored its first 3 points when they took over at the 45 after a short punt. Jones pushed back and wrapped up again. Nowhere to go for Brady Jones. Tackled on the play by Duke Culver. So an opening 3 and out for UAB. UTSA will have it their first chance this half when we return. UTSA on the field to begin their first drive of the third quarter. Passing offense has been a struggle for Dalton Sturm and for both teams. Really, A.J. Erdley only 8 passing attempts. Sturm 4 for 15 in the first half. Lines up under center. Jalen Rhodes shakes off a tackle, and Rhodes dives forward to the 35. Hit by Fitzgerald Moford.
That was a tough 3 or 4 yards, but UTSA has got to be willing to stick with that. And then you can set up the pass off of play action, but you have to run the ball effectively first, something they have not done tonight.
Well, Fitzgerald Moford made that tackle. I feel like there's a story around every UAB player with what these guys went through, what they came to build this program. He's a guy who came to UAB sight unseen and never visited the campus when he arrived. Good play action fake, and Sturm's gonna chuck it, intended for Jalen Rhodes, and maybe a little over the head of Kerry Thomas Jr. But on the initial fake, it looked like Rhodes took a big hit, and they thought he had the football.
Well, they did carry out the fakes. They faked the jet sweep, then they faked to Rhodes, then he rolls out, and then he did have Thomas underneath there, but he overthrew him. I believe that was his intended target.
And here's how uncharacteristic this offense has been for UTSA tonight. One of the best passing offenses in the conference, but right now, less than 50 yards passing. Sturm going to the sideline, leaping attempt by Marquez McNair. Jordan Petty was all over him. Gave him a good shot. Yeah, that's been an interesting battle, Petty and McNair.
A little love tap there at the end, but again, Mike, if you saw, the UAB only rushed 4. When you're covering with 7, it's very hard to find anybody open, and Sturm has struggled with that. He had the right target, but he was well covered and up against the sideline. There just wasn't enough room to make that play.
3 and out for both teams to start the half. And Rootsis will boot it away. A little bit of a shorter kick, and it's caught in the air by Wilson. So good field position for UAB. They'll take over at the 30. The defense is holding strong here in the second. UAB on top, 21-6. Early third. Defense is holding serve early. Second crack at it this quarter for UAB. A.J. Early doing what he does well this game. Hands off to Spencer Brown, and Brown dives forward. Now he's over 100 yards rushing. He's getting closer to 100 yards rushing, rather, in this game.
Yeah, he's going for his sixth 100-yard rushing game, second in the conference right now.
Devin Singletary, part of that explosive FAU offense. Leads the conference in a number of rushing categories, but Brown right behind him. He is over 100 now, 102 on the game. Early pump fake. Has to escape. There goes Marcus Davenport, and Davenport lays the lumber. A huge hit by Davenport, and Eardley is down.
Well, that was a violent hit there at the end by Davenport, clean. And we saw his great closing speed. And watch the landing here on the shoulder, the right shoulder. And that could be disastrous for UAB if Eardley is not able to come back.
Actually, he did a good job escaping Lakel Bass, and then Davenport with the closing speed just delivered a vicious, and yes, legal, but just a huge hit because he's 6'7" and a big guy.
Well, he did fall on the shoulder, but it doesn't look like a shoulder injury. So he's back in the game. He's in the game. And maybe just lost his wind for a brief moment.
And Bill Clark is going to take a timeout to perhaps give his quarterback some more time. He's certainly hurting. He might not have been the shoulder, but Eardley is in discomfort right now.
Davenport, with his size and speed, that is why, Mike, the NFL is very interested in this young man.
I think that's why it looked so bad to the UAB coaches, because Davenport's coming on a full charge and just delivered a good force. But they were well aware of him. Their offensive coordinator, Les Kenning, said, we got to be aware of what 93 is doing. He's going to play on Sundays. So they knew about him, and that you can see what Davenport does.
And that is why UAB really doesn't want to throw the ball. They don't want to have to deal with Marcus Davenport. They haven't had to most of the game, but UTSA has forced the issue here in the third quarter and forcing UAB to do what they don't want to do, which is pass the ball. And when they pass the ball, here comes Marcus Davenport on the rush.
Eardley stays in after that little breather.
They even have help over on Davenport on the right side right now.
Gives the ball to Brown. Spencer Brown going forward, and Brown is across the 35-yard line. He is now over 106 yards rushing, and that's big because Spencer Brown takes over 3rd place on UAB's single-season rushing list, passing Carl Sanders, who had 1,154 yards back in 1996. And what a debut season for Spencer Brown.
Coach Bill Clark very conservative in this 3rd quarter, relying on his defense with a 21-6 lead.
Yeah, again, UAB happy to get the yardage but not get the first down. They've done that on their first 2 drives and find to punt it away. Trusting the defense. UAB gets a rushing record for Spencer Brown, but they give the ball back. UTSA will come back on offense, trailing 21-6. Early on in the 3rd quarter, UAB has been content to just keep running the football and let their defense try to slow down UTSA. Sturm keeps it. He is spun down into the line. And maybe a loss of 1. Well, tonight's second half scoreboard is sponsored by Homevestors. Need to sell your home quickly? Call Homevestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people. 1-800-44-BUYER. But if you're UTSA, how do you jumpstart the offense? Because UAB's giving you opportunities.
They're trying to run the football, but it's just not working. Nothing really working tonight for UTSA.
Now Sturm goes there, slips it back to Stewart. He's wrapped up immediately. Bronte Harris was all over Josh Stewart, and it brings up 3rd and long.
And there have been a couple of pass interference penalties here against UAB, but again, they have towed the line defensively. They have had tight coverage on no matter where UTSA is passing. The defenders have been right there all night long, and now another 3rd and long for the Roadrunners.
And UTSA just 3 for 9 on 3rd downs. Sturm gets it to Jones, going towards the marker, and he's across for a 1st down.
And really inside in the middle of the field have been the only openings for Dalton Sturm. He's able to complete that one that time. Again, a 4-man rush from UAB. All the outside receivers are covered. So he goes across the middle here to pick up the 1st down.
3rd quarter replays are presented by the San Antonio Auto and Truck Show. Show your team pride at the auto show and save. Wear your San Antonio area college shirt or bring your game ticket stub to the San Antonio Auto Show tomorrow at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center and get $5 off general admission. Nothing going for UTSA right now. And, you know, we asked Frank Wilson about this. The offensive line has been dealt with such a rash of injuries, and it has been tough to kind of mix and match lines. But it's something that they've gotten used to. And for UTSA, it's the unfortunate side effect of football. Guys get hurt. They have been pretty snake bitten on the offensive line this year. Lost their starting left guard Kyle McKinney for the year, the 1st game of the season. Tyrell Clay, a nice charge forward, and he carries the pile close to the 40-yard line.
You want to look at an offense struggling. If you look at the point totals here this season for UTSA, and when they're down, the offensive line is having a bad game. And here we are again with UTSA having struggles offensively, and it's because the offensive line is just not holding up their end of the deal. The skill guys, they can't get it done without the offensive line, and in this game, UAB's defensive front has dominated.
The Roadrunners just converted a 3rd down, now 4 for 10 in this game. Remember, they didn't score a touchdown until the 4th quarter last week at FIU. Sturm escapes the tackle in the backfield, and he's got space to fly. Big run by Dalton Sturm, and he had to make a move to get it going.
Did that look like a busted play? The running, I think that was supposed to be an option play. Oh, Sturm, he had the running back, Rhodes, running in front of him. He may have been thinking shuttle pass in front of him. Instead, he saw the daylight. He's able to get around the edge there for the 1st down and broke a tackle along the way.
Low snap, the Road gets it cleanly, and Rhodes will carry Fitzgerald Mofor forward.
You might see him come back to that. Rhodes was in front, and they were setting up an option play of sorts where you can shuttle the ball forward. But now, a couple of good runs in a row here, Mike, and a 2nd and 5. This is a situation that UTSA prefers versus the 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs that they have faced all night.
Both teams have really just abandoned the pass, though. But now UTSA's been successful moving the ball. They're across midfield.
They still have time to establish the run. There's a lot of time left in this football game.
Rhodes slips a tackle and into open space. Jalen Rhodes lost the football, and UAB has it. I think Jordan Petty fell on it when Rhodes shook free another tackle. He lost the football. Jordan Petty was on it first. We all know about Piles. It's who comes up with it last. And right now, the indication is Blazers football.
Boy, how disappointing is that, Mike, for UTSA to finally get off a good run and then turn the ball over. Rhodes had such a nice run there, but UAB able to reach in and strip the ball away.
Broderick Thomas looks like he got the hand in. Petty was the first one on it, and that's the 2nd UTSA turnover in this ball game.
And there's another stolen possession for UAB. They haven't turned the ball over. UTSA has, and now they can go back to grinding the clock with a 2-touchdown lead.
And that was the first time Jalen Rhodes had really gotten loose and into open space. But it results in a fumble. UAB calls it 2nd timeout.
That's certainly early in the 2nd half to be calling that.
Yeah, only 1 timeout remaining in the whole game for UAB. But not the worst issue right now when you're still up. It becomes an issue. We'll table this if UTSA ties or takes the lead, and then UAB only 1 timeout for the remaining however many minutes.
And guess what's happening here? UTSA is starting to show some life running the football, and defensively they're starting to stop the run, and so that timeout could come back to haunt UAB, because there's a lot of time left in this football game, and the trend is starting to turn towards UTSA making the right adjustments.
UAB has not been able to move the football this quarter. A couple of early 3-and-outs. They've punted back to the Roadrunners. They have been unflinching, though, in their game plan. Give the ball to Spencer Brown and let him work. Let him try to wear down the UTSA defense, but the defense has been very stout this half.
How often do you see in modern-day college football trying to milk a 15-point lead in a half? That's what UAB's doing. They're just running the football. They're relying on their defense, but UTSA showing, again, some signs of life with their offense.
Brown again, up the middle. Malin Baker meets him. Nate Gaines is back into the ball game, and he kind of lunged in at the very end of the play.
It's good to see him back. He went out hobbled in the first half, but things having him and his leadership back on the field is very important to the Roadrunners.
UAB 4 for 9. They have not converted a 3rd down this half. And it's again 3rd and pretty long. Now just running straight up the middle. 3rd and 5 for the Blazers. They need the 37. He's going to chuck it. It's Wilson, and he dives across the 40 for the 1st down. He was spun down by Carl Lawson III, but it's a 1st down catch.
Just a quick in there by Andre Wilson. He's been somewhat quiet here in the receiving game. He had 41 catches coming into this game to lead UAB, but that a nice safe pass got inside the defender, makes the catch.
Early going to take a shot long down the field, and it's intercepted. Devron Davis with the interception. His 2nd of the season.
Well, UAB trying to get Andre Wilson involved, and just great coverage there by UTSA to get the interception. Davis finally makes something happen for the UTSA defense. They get their 1st turnover, and now it's up to the offense to turn the momentum of this game.
Devron Davis had a pick 6 at UTEP, and he just leaps up and fully extended, makes a terrific play.
Did it seem as if UAB was being a little bit too patient there? They finally try to strike with Andre Wilson downfield, and it backfires.
We talked about that yellow bucket on the sidelines. We asked the UTSA coaches what that was. It's their money bucket, their turnover bucket. Every time a UTSA player forces a turnover, they're going to go dunk it in.
5-yard penalty, first down.
But then UTSA,
that's a bad start,
harms themselves. Here's a little bit of a closer look at the money bucket. On it is written, "It's all about the ball." That's what Pete Golding said Frank Wilson's motto is. They emphasize turnovers heavily, especially on Wednesdays in practice. And they wanted to get some motivated. They wanted to get kids motivated in a way than just, hey, we're going to focus on turnovers today. So they created the money bucket.
Well, Sturm on the move there, but minimal on that short pass.
So tough for UTSA though. Yeah, you get that momentum, you get the money bucket surge, and then you get a penalty, and now 2nd and long.
That penalty kind of took the wind out of the sails a little bit from the momentum. Let's see if they can get it back here.
Misdirection, a nice pass to Tyrell Clay. A lot of contact and a big collision. Clay got the better end of that one, and he rolls forward close to the first down marker.
A little bit more speed and dropping a similar play off to Tyrell Clay there. And in the open field, he has enough speed to get to the first down marker. UTSA slowly getting on track here offensively, Mike.
They have started to move the ball, and they're not the traditional look over the middle or drop down the field. They have used some misdirection to find some space for guys like that play. To Tyrell Clay to get the first. Sturm going down the right sideline. Looking for Kerry Thomas Jr. and a lot of hand fighting, but for both players. And that is the lockdown corner, Darius Williams. Came into the game 2nd in Conference USA in passes defended. Now, really, it is just extremely difficult to get anything around him.
You're absolutely right, Mike. He has been on point with his coverages all night. They're not afraid to let him be isolated one-on-one against anybody. He's done the job all night long for UAB, and he did it there on Kerry Thomas.
Roadrunners need midfield to keep the drive moving. 2nd down for UTSA. And off Clay, nothing there. Shaq Jones and a horde of UAB Blazers come in to stifle Tyrell Clay.
That play was broken up almost from the beginning, as just so much penetration up front from the UAB defensive front, and then Shaq Jones there to clean it up. And now another 3rd and long here for UTSA.
Chico Powell limping off for UAB though. He's an Illinois transfer. Played 2 years with the Fighting Illini. And 3rd and long for the Roadrunners. And a big hit on Sturm, and he's wrapped up and dropped. That is the moral leader and probably the heart and soul of this team, Tevin Cruz, a redshirt senior. Arrived at UAB in 2011. So he is technically a 7th-year senior.
That sounds like me. I went to school about 7 years, but he went on a delay blitz there as the front 4 rushed, and then he looked for the little opening. He found it. He got to Dalton Sturms, and another sack and another 3 and out for the Roadrunners right after they get the first turnover of the game from their defense.
Remember we said how everyone on UAB has a story? Well, Cruz was working as a valet at a Birmingham area Westin hotel when he found out the football program was back. Well, right now, before UTSA goes back out on the field, let's go down to Aaron Carreño for more on the origins of the money bucket.
Yeah, guys, you mentioned the money bucket. Any big takeaway? They get to dunk it inside this beautiful yellow bin, but the idea came about when we talked to Pete Golding. He says it came from a recruiting trip that he made earlier in the year. He went over to a high school and they were doing this, so he asked them if he could go ahead and adopt the idea, and here we are on the sideline. A yellow bucket is now a part of a tradition here with the defense.
Now that high school, they just had like a regular trash can. So it was UTSA that dressed up and made that one entertaining. So it is all about the ball, and their goal, fill it up. You see those balls stay in there. So ideally, you fill up the bucket after every game.
The problem for UTSA is they've put balls in the money bucket, but they haven't cashed in on any of them. 3 turnovers last week. They didn't get any points out of it. They didn't get any points out of the last turnover from UAB either.
And the Blazers back with the football. No harm done. Still up 21-6. There's Marcus Davenport getting in for the tackle.
Yeah, he's determined to help become a part of that run-stop defense. UTSA has done an outstanding job. Brown getting up a little bit slowly and will go out of the game now for UAB. But UTSA's defense has played excellent. They really got kind of smashed down, Mike, in that first half. That hasn't happened here in the second half. And now another turnover opportunity, perhaps, as they have forced UAB into a passing down.
Erdley looking left, throws to the sideline, hauled in by what's been his go-to receiver tonight, Ronnie Turner.
Great timing route.
Indicated first down. Now Turner, a huge grab there to move the sticks for 15 yards.
They needed 8, so he runs down about 10 yards, turns right in at the sticks. The pass was on the money there from Erdley. Right as he turned, the ball was there, delivered. First down for the Blazers.
After Spencer Brown limped off, James Noble in the backfield. And Erdley lost the football. Ball on the ground, and UTSA comes up with it. LaCale Bass gonna get a dunk it in the turnover bucket. Second turnover forced this half by the Roadrunners, and they take over the 35-yard line.
They were running a read off of the jet sweep fake to Andre Wilson, and Erdley was just trying to get extra yardage here. He's a big guy trying to get up the field there, and somebody popped the ball from behind him loose, and LaCale Bass was there to recover it for the Roadrunners. Best starting field position of the day here for UTSA, and they must cash in if their defense continues to make plays like this.
Looked like Franklin Wessey was one of a couple of guys who had a hand in there. And here is a pitch on an option. Tyrell Clay across the 30. He takes a big lick by Broderick Thomas. And now Clay a little slow to get up.
Wow, that was a huge hit, but it is a first down run or close to it. And Frank Wilson goes straight to Tyrell Clay, and he's going to pull him out of the game because watch this hit. It is huge. And that will end the third.
Yeah, smart there by Frank Wilson. Player safety, certainly paramount. Well, we are to the fourth. UTSA driving. The Roadrunners trail 21-6. Final quarter coming up. UTSA's ball hawking defense has forced 2 turnovers in the third quarter. The Roadrunners have come and taken it. They unfurl that banner here at the end of the third quarter into the fourth. And now it's up to the offense, because UTSA is still trailing 21-6, but the defense has stepped up. A couple of 3-and-outs for UAB, and then 2 turnovers in that third quarter.
They're putting balls in the bucket. They need to maybe create another bucket where they fill it up after they score after a turnover. That is the key. Turnovers, it's great to get them, but if you can't turn them into points, they don't have near the meaning. And UTSA really needs to score here to have a chance in this fourth quarter.
This is the best field position of the game, though, for UTSA to start with. And Brett Winnigan is now in the backfield along with Sturm. Winnigan gets it right up the middle. He's got speed, and Brett Winnigan takes it close to the 10-yard line. Now 2 UAB players are down. A flag flew, and one of them is down without his helmet. So that is of some concern right now. And they are motioning the staff to go look at the UAB defender down on the field, lying on the 15-yard line.
I'm actually a little surprised that Brett Winnigan hasn't had more carries this year for UTSA. Mike, he's got 8 carries coming into this game, 108 yards, 13.5-yard average, and it pops off a big run there for the Roadrunners. But right now the concern is
blocking the back, offense, number 80, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Will Dawkins is the injured UAB player. Collided with, I think, his own guy. Helmet came off, and that's certainly scary when you have play going. Redshirt sophomore from Vero Beach, Florida. Played at Indiana, now he'll be helped off. So we'll step aside while Dawkins gets off the field. UTSA down 21-6 and driving. UTSA pushed back to the 25-yard line after the block in the back. This is approximately when the Roadrunners scored their first touchdown at FIU last week. In that 14-7 loss. And they're here after the forced fumble. Sturm gonna air it out down the sideline and over the head of Shaq Williams. Sturm also took a pretty big shot at the end of that play. That was number 44, Garrett Marino, the redshirt sophomore.
this is field goal range, but it's also kind of on the edge of field goal range. And we're still early in the fourth, so that's an option. But UTSA, if they get a touchdown here, all of a sudden we have a one-score game.
Tyrell Clay.
Biggest drive of the game.
Sorry about that, Bobby. Yeah, Tyrell Clay back in now after he took that hit. Here's the reverse. Kerry Thomas and a pitch back to Sturm, who throws it to Marquez McNair. McNair dances out of a couple of tackles and gets the 10, but a flag flies behind the play, and another UAB defender is down. So after all that excitement, it's going to come back for UAB or for UTSA.
What was weird about that was
blocking the back, offense, number 81, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
McNair started the reverse. It was a reverse flea flicker pass. See, he flips it off, then back to him, and then he stays out in the flat, which was kind of strange, instead of going up the field. But he does break a tackle and makes a nice gain, but all of that negated from a block in the back, and all of a sudden UTSA went from a very good situation to a very difficult situation.
Stacy Keeley was the injured Blazer. And yeah, the Roadrunners now, they were moved back to the 25. Now they're moved back to the 35-yard line. They need the 15 for a first down. Sturm over the middle. Josh Stewart takes a big hit, got upended by Broderick Thomas, who seems to be everywhere tonight, but hangs on. That's one of the biggest passes and catches tonight for UTSA.
The Blazers certainly bring the wood, but that is a great job there of holding on to the football, getting really good positive yardage there for Josh Stewart. He's big at 6'4", 210, so he can take shots like that. And now a makeable third down here for the Roadrunners.
13-yard completion. Stewart's come up with some big catches tonight. Sturm steps up, has to bring it down. Nowhere to go, trying to escape. And Sturm's in trouble, tries to get back to the marker, still on his feet. Dalton Sturm has some space, and Sturm's into the end zone.
Wow, Mike, and that is the competitor in Dalton Sturms. We talked about how he had really a horrible first half, which was the bad news, including an interception, but then you bring out the competitor. This guy competed as a walk-on, fought his way to a starting position, and watch this run. With the moves, with the broken tackles, and the end result is a 22-yard touchdown for the Roadrunners.
I'm not sure how he got around Darrell Waters, but sheer will for Dalton Sturm gets them into the end zone, the 22-yard rush after the 5-play drive. So Sturm, through sheer force of will, Frank Wilson can't believe it. What a run by his quarterback. Sturm doing it himself. UTSA claws back. They're down 21-13. Last week, Dalton Sturm accounted for 187 of the team's 261 total yards. right now we might have just sparked them with a 22-yard run, although who knows how many yards he went horizontally, stepping back, stepping around, and then stepping through the UAB defense before running into the end zone. Kick it away to the goal line. Kalen Carter ahead of Steve. Spins out just across the 20.
Well, and a late hit at the end of that play.
All fourth quarter action tonight on the CityWide Sports Network, presented by IHOP. Yes, this will be a big flag here.
You saw two players going 5, 6, 7 yards into the sideline there at the end. And if this is against UAB, Mike, they're going to have awful field position with UTSA and the momentum.
And already hesitant to pass this half.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Return team, number 12. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Wow.
It goes on Grayson
12
Cash,
first. Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
a freshman.
It was amazing how late it was, and what a terrible situation it's put Alabama Birmingham in here, Mike. They're back at the 11-yard line. They haven't moved the ball well in this second half. UTSA has made the adjustment, and the running game has slowed to a crawl here for UAB, and now they feel like they're trying to just hold on here.
Second half scoring summaries tonight sponsored by North Star Dodge. Open Sunday, their savings destination. Eardley keeps it, and he is thrown back. That rushing attack's been bottled up all second half for UAB. And the Blazers have been content to just kind of protect this lead and try to let their defense, I guess, win it for them.
And you see here, UTSA is now controlled. They flipped the script here. They're controlling the line of scrimmage here in the second half.
Good news, though, for the Blazers. Spencer Brown back in. Actually limped off, kind of holding his knee. A couple drives ago. Fake to Brown. It was a big hit, but he didn't have the football, and Eardley gets forward.
Eardley was trying to run the option, and he had Andre Wilson trailing him, but he chose to turn it upfield and run. He may have been better served to pitch the ball off there and see what Andre could do with it out on the perimeter. Now a third down and long here for UAB, and now you go back to them using those 2 timeouts and saying, gosh, we may end up having a close finish here. We only have 1 timeout left.
Donnie Lee goes in motion out of the backfield. Early steps up, throws a wobbly ball, and it's deflected away. And he is down, getting up after a big hit from who else? Number 93, Marcus Davenport. That's what caused the rush to wobbly throw.
Pass behind Wilson there, and here comes Davenport off the edge.
And for all the protection that UAB has put on that side, just a missed coverage on 93 to come free into the quarterback.
That was unfair for big 57 Justice Powers to try to block Davenport around the edge there.
Another good punt, though. Dixon pushes back Jones, but Brady Jones has some space, and he goes across the 45-yard line. So over the second straight drive, UTSA takes over in UAB territory. The fumble resulted in a touchdown. We'll see what the Roadrunners can do. They trail 21-13 early in the fourth. UTSA is trying to capitalize on a couple of forced turnovers and good field position. Tyrell Clay charging downfield inside the 40-yard line. There he's tackled by a couple of linebackers. A reminder for our San Antonio audience, you can watch this game again tomorrow in an encore presentation at 10 a.m. on KCWX TV. A lot of script still to be written in this one, though. 11 minutes left. UTSA with the ball down by 8. Play again, stutter steps. Tried to spin out of a tackle, and I think he was knocked down. Marino says he was. That was Garrett Marino getting into the backfield once again. He's been a good presence back there all night for the Blazers.
Yeah, Thomas ends up finishing him off here, but That could have been a loss of 2. He's able to get back to the line of scrimmage here. Set up a 3rd down for the Roadrunners. They have clearly dominated this second half, Mike.
We'll see if they can keep going and finish it off. UTSA is faced with another 3rd down. 6 of 13 tonight. And Sturm has nowhere to go, and he loses the football. It's on the ground, scooped up by UAB. Marino again comes up with it. The 3rd forced turnover tonight by that ball-hawking Blazers defense.
They kept him in the pocket as Sturm tried to escape, but there was nowhere to get outside. So you'll see the hit coming as he runs into his own lineman, then spins around and takes a pop. Ball comes loose, another UTSA turnover, and just like that, the momentum flip back to UAB.
Yeah, after he spun away from actually Marino and his own blocker, never saw Thomas Johnston, who knocked that one free. Now, UAB is actually across midfield for the first time this half. Erdley senses pressure, taken off to the 35, and A.J. Erdley has a big run of his own. And just like that, UAB, who couldn't get anything going on offense, is threatening to score once again.
Erdley looked pretty fast there on that 17-yard run. You know why? Because 93, Marcus Davenport was on him early, and A.J. able to just escape and outrun Marcus Davenport, who was providing the pressure.
Brown up the middle. Collapses into the UTSA defense.
Now you can go back to running the football at the Roadrunners, running more clock. A field goal here actually does you a lot of good if you're UAB. That would make it a 2-score game against a UTSA offense that has struggled today and turned it over 3 times.
Helmet came off for Balin Baker. He runs out. Jared Carter McLean is in. Erdley, pump fakes, airing it out down the right sideline, and a lot of contact. Players got tangled up. Gaines and Wilson just tripped over each other, no harm, and an incomplete pass.
Great respect for Andre Wilson as UTSA essentially had double coverage on him that time with Davis and Gaines.
The UAB has converted half of their 3rd downs tonight, right around their season average of 48%. UAB's offensive struggles. 173 rushing yards in that first half. It hasn't been there here in the second half. Erdley has nowhere to go, and he's wrapped up for the loss. LaCale Bass drops him near the line of scrimmage. And it brings up 4th and long, and in an interesting situation for UAB. The ball is at the 31-yard line. Their kicker, Nick Vogel, does have a long of 45 this year, and he's going to come out there.
A 48-yard attempt, though, that he'll have to beat his season long to give the Blazers a 2-score lead.
And a danger if you miss. It gives UTSA good field position. Kick is up, it's a solid boot, and it is right through. Maybe all he needed was some indoor football. Nick Vogel, a long of 48 yards, extends the UAB lead, 24-13 Blazers, mid-4th. Turnovers have been a big story in this one. UAB capitalizes on another forced turnover. 10 points now off those turnovers. Scored a touchdown after an interception on the opening drive, and then after it looked like UAB was about to give away the momentum, a forced fumble and a 48-yard field goal, longest of the season for Nick Vogel, a redshirt sophomore from Jacksonville. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-possession ball game. A kick out of the end zone. The speedy Winnigan bottled up. And before UTSA gets onto the field for its offense. Let's go down to the sidelines and join Aaron Carreño.
Yeah, guys, just want to give you an injury update on number 3, sophomore safety Will Dawkins for UAB. He went out with injury earlier in the 4th quarter. Before heading into the tent, he was holding his head. He has since walked out and seems to be doing fine, but he does not have a helmet in his hand, so I'm unsure if he'll be finishing this game for UAB.
Dawkins was the starting safety, had the interception on the first drive of the game. From Vero Beach, Florida. Spent a couple of years at Indiana University before coming here to help get the UAB program back on track. There's a toss out to the flat. Marquez McNair is wrapped up after a gain of 5.
And you know what that field goal does, Mike, is it forces UTSA into really passing the ball here, probably going a little more up-tempo, a little more hurry up, and I'm not saying abandon the run, but maybe not being able to utilize the run as much as they would like.
You start to be a little more aware, right, of the clock now that you're down 2 possessions with nearly 8 minutes left in this ball game. Sturm goes misdirection to Tyrell Clay, and he is bottled up by Tevin Cruz.
I can't emphasize how much this 3rd down is big for UTSA. A delay draw, they get the action going left, a draw to Clay, and he gets about 3 yards away from the first down here, but this is huge. UTSA does not want to give the ball back to the Blazers here because they'll go back into grind mode and use a lot of the clock that's left.
The 4th quarter instant replays brought to you by Thomas J. Henry. When you or your family need help, call Thomas J. Henry 24/7 nights and weekends, 211-656-1000. Sturm looking middle, instead goes out to the flat. Clay tries to step through some tacklers, and he gets pushed forward for the first down. Another great effort to just force his way to the marker.
Well, he is a stocky build at 5'9", low to the ground, but 210, and strong enough to spin out of 2 tacklers there at the very end to pick up the first down, and the drive continues here for the Roadrunners.
Yeah, UTSA now 7 for 15 on 3rd down conversions. Well, these teams have done well on 3rd downs, but they have faced a lot of them. UTSA looking to claim bowl eligibility, just 5-3 on the season. UAB trying to keep the magical story going. Just over the head of Brady Jones.
Mike, it's a 2-possession game, and it's hard to imagine with 6:39 left to go in the game that UTSA, including this drive, is going to see the ball more than 3 times in this game. So they must get something done either on this drive or the next 2, but I can see maybe 3 more possessions for the Roadrunners.
Sturm taking off. This has been their best play this half, and he tucks it and dives across and avoids what looked like it could have been a pretty big hit. As again, Broderick Thomas was coming in from his safety position. But yeah, Sturm rushing has kind of paced them. He's got 41 yards rushing, and we haven't seen Jalen Rhodes since that fumble. It's been Tyrell Clay and Brett Winnigan now who's in the backfield. Sturm stepping up, steps away from a tackler. Keeps it himself and takes a big hit by Cruz, and Sturm was just trying to hang on to the football. Tevin Cruz, that senior linebacker, was right in there to deny Dalton Sturm another highlight reel run.
How about Cruz there squaring up on this tackle? You know how hard that is to do in the open field, but he chases Sturm out. He stays in front of him, squares up, face mask in the chest, and down goes Dalton Sturm. And there's what I think, Mike, may have been one of the final 3 possessions for UTSA in this game, and they're going to have to punt.
Clock becomes a big concern. 5:15 and counting. Roots this takes a while trying to see if there was anything down there, and gives it a high boot. And a fair catch called by Andre Wilson. For those that might have just joined us, the answer to that San Antonio Chevy Dealers UTSA team trivia question: when was the last time UAB and UTSA played each other in football? I did say at the very top of the broadcast, the answer, 2013. It was here in the Alamo Dome. It's the only meeting between these teams. UTSA won 52-31. The UAB program shut down after the 2014 season for financial reasons, but credit the city of Birmingham, the business community, and the fans in getting the program reinstated. And we have talked a lot about those 2 years they went through before this, their first season back. The handoff to Carter, UTSA looking for the strip. Devron Davis trying to yank that ball loose and have a couple of defenders join him.
Well, this would be a great time. The UTSA, I believe, has used their timeout, their first. And it's kind of a 3-and-out or bust here for UTSA, Mike. If you get a similar play on second down, they'll use their second timeout, and what they're hoping for is that UAB will try to throw the ball on third down and get the incomplete pass to save at least one of those timeouts, and then get good field position as they have UAB pinned back deep.
All right, now let's take a look at the Conference USA scoreboard. They're sponsored by HEB. No store does more than HEB. So FAU continues to dominate the East Division, 48-23 win. And UTEP, as we mentioned earlier, still winless. North Texas clinches the West with a 45-10 win. Here's some top 25 scores. It's been some chaos around the top 25. Georgia suffers its first loss of the season, 40-17. Clemson takes down Florida State to clinch the Atlantic Division in the ACC. Some more top 25 scores because there's a lot of excitement going on right now. Ohio State might have gotten back in the thick of the playoff race with the 48-3 win after a couple of other results have happened and some games in progress have happened, including their number 3 Notre Dame losing 27-0. And Alabama in a fight with Mississippi State. Now they were down, they just tied it up. And Oklahoma, well, looking like one of the best teams in the land once again, up big against TCU.
Mike, it's very hard for me to see this college football season there not being a 2-loss team in the playoffs in the Final Four. It seems like we're almost destined to have at least one 2-loss team make the playoffs this year for college football.
It's shaping up to be quite a crazy season. C.J. Levine was helped off. That's a big loss, starting safety there for UTSA. Brendan Johnson has checked in on this critical third down. Erdley keeps it, and he has absolutely nowhere to go. LaCale Bass got him on the tackle and dropped him.
Well, they decided to run the ball because they would like UTSA to call that final timeout, but Frank Wilson's going to hold on to it because he knows not only does he need to score on the upcoming drive, he's going to need some time to get the ball back.
Would you send the house or set up a return here?
I think you're going to have a good return. Well, it looks like they're coming.
Here they come. Punt is off. And it's right to Brady Jones, who calls a fair catch. Now, there was no one back there to help set up the return, so Brady Jones does set up the fair catch. Well, following the game, stay with us for the John Wayne Service Company post-game show. When you need heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical help, make just one call to fix it all. 210-293-6700.
Mike, UAB is going to play off, I believe, here and just try to keep the Roadrunners in front. UTSA is desperate for a big play right now. And don't be surprised to see the Blazers go into some type of prevent defense here, knowing that UTSA needs 2 scores.
Only 100 yards passing today for the Roadrunners. Sturm has nowhere to go. He is ripped down by Marino.
Marino whipped his blocker. Then he takes Dalton Sturm down on the design quarterback draw. That play was a disaster from the very beginning.
Tremendous individual effort. Look at this by Marino. And Just does it all right there, the point of contact. Sturm, nothing downfield, and just throws it safely away. Got it enough to the sideline where it was deflected out of bounds. Incomplete, but it brings up a critical 3rd down, and we keep talking about the clock. This has to be 4 down territory right here, right?
No doubt about it. I think UTSA 3rd and 13. They've got 2 plays here to try to get 13 yards, or this game is pretty much over.
Sturm standing with Tyrell Clay to his left. McNair in motion. Sturm steps up. Marino again, and there's Johnson who knocks it free. Ruled incomplete. The linebacker, Thomas Johnston, came around and tried to get a blindside hit and knock the ball free like he did on the fumble earlier.
Sturm cocked 2 different times there to throw the football. He just didn't have enough time to get that pass off at the end as Johnston hits him right as he's releasing it. And here it is with 3:19 to go in the game. UTSA with just 1 timeout, down by 2 scores. They have to convert on this play.
Sturm steps up, pressure again, chucks it to the sideline, and it is hauled in right at the 1st down marker by Kerry Thomas Jr. And for Thomas Jr., he's now the all-time leading receiving yards leader in UTSA history. Most career reception yards for Kerry Thomas Jr. Won't have time to celebrate that right now, but it's a significant milestone for the senior. And Sturm chucks it away again, low to McNair to get out of pressure. So Thomas Jr. will do some more diligence on that one. He entered the night 1,475 career yards, was 3 behind Cam Jones, who had 1,478, and it took him until about 3 minutes left in the game. But finally, Kerry Thomas Jr., who has pretty much every receiving record here at UTSA, gets the yardage record as well with that reception for 15 yards.
Safeties for UAB here, Mike, are playing a good 15 to 20 yards off the football.
Sturm, quick toss to Thomas Jr. And he bobbled it and dropped it as the defense closed in around him. Garrison Mitchell was right there on top of him.
It's really simple. Keep him in front. Now, in the case of that pass, that should have been caught. Maybe not 1st down yardage, but positive yardage could have come of that. The only good thing that came of that was the clock stopping with the incomplete pass.
Yeah, only 1 timeout for UTSA and 42 yards to go. Sturm to the sideline, quick toss to McNair. Tried to dive for the 1st. Got out of bounds, though. That helps, even though he's short.
So they're going to have to try to convert on 4th down again.
UTSA 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions tonight. They're 4 for 8 this year. Although they were stopped on a couple of big 4th downs against FIU last week.
Here's a thought, field goal, but
from here,
well, you need, that's part of the 2 scores you could potentially get back in, but they will go for it here on 4th and 2.
Sturm looks to the left, throws to Brady Jones, hangs on, takes the hit from Broderick Thomas, and gets the 1st down.
Big conversion there, and the defender shaken up on the play. And that is the defensive back, Broderick Thomas, who's still down on the field here for UAB.
Thomas, I guess, took a big pop as well from Brady Jones. Well, he's being looked at. Let's take a look at the Conference USA standings. And they're presented by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Now, North Texas has clinched the West Division because they have the tiebreaker over UAB, but the Blazers can keep locked into 2nd place. They would own the edge over Southern Miss, and UTSA trying to get to bowl eligibility. They're at 5-3 and trying to stay put in the top half of the division with just a 2-3 conference record.
Mike, we expected a physical football game here. That is the style of both of these teams. So It's unfortunate, but not surprising that a number of players have been knocked out of this game, and Thomas might be the next. But fortunately, he will trot off on his own. UTSA, new set of downs here. You need 2 scores, so now you're definitely in field goal range. But the Roadrunners want to hold on to that last timeout as long as they can. Now it's come down to they need a score and an onside kick.
And Thomas, that's a big loss for UAB. Led the way with 7 tackles tonight and a forced fumble. And it felt like we've said his name on every play. Sturm gets hit hard and driven back. Tried to take off immediately. There was just nothing there. Marino again, along with Fitzgerald Mofor. And now UTSA calls its last timeout with 1:52 remaining.
You get the feeling that Garrett Marino, part of his responsibility tonight was spy on Dalton Sturm. Every time Sturm has tried to run that quarterback draw, number 44 from UAB is standing in his way.
Our CityWide Sports Network telecast calendar is brought to you by IHOP. Join us next Saturday night at 6 p.m. where you can watch the Roadrunners and the Marshall Thundering Herd in UTSA's final home game of the season on CW35 in San Antonio. And on November 15th, that's Wednesday at 7 p.m. on KCWX TV, we'll have our first basketball game of the season. UTSA at Texas State. Visit CityWideSportsNetwork.com for our complete schedule of exciting college football and basketball games. CSN, where it all begins. Sturm standing tall, finally finds McNair. And McNair gets tackled inbounds by Darius Williams.
Now you're in a really uncomfortable spot here. You're out of timeouts. You have to hurry up.
Sturm looks toward the sideline again, then goes back over the middle. Josh Stewart catches it in traffic. And UTSA is going to try to move quickly. Clock will stop momentarily, but still, time an issue.
Is this worth a spike? I kind of think it might be, but they're going to go ahead and run a play.
Sturm to the right, throws it over the middle. Thomas Jr. in for the touchdown. Fourth touchdown of the season for Kerry Thomas Jr., the all-time leader in career touchdown receptions, season touchdowns, and gets his first today.
He just gets inside the corner there. Nice bullet pass there from Dalton Sturm. UTSA has a fighting chance here. It's 24-19. A field goal won't get you there unless you can convert a 2-point conversion here. So the Roadrunners numbers say go for 2 here.
Sturm stares down Stewart, throws his way, and it's tipped away. That play was eerily reminiscent of UTSA's failed 2-point conversion against Southern Miss. They ended up losing the football game 31-29. Same kind of play. Sturm looked right at Thomas, and then his pass was knocked away, incomplete. This one, still, if you get the 2-point conversion, you still need this onside kick. It would have been big regardless. But now UTSA has to have the onside kick and has to have the touchdown, all with no timeouts left.
That's a tall task. You got one play at a time here. The next play is the biggest of the game here for the Roadrunners. It's over if they can't get this. If they get it, as you said, Mike, that's going to be a tall task too, to try to score a touchdown with just over a minute to play and no timeouts. So the hands team will come onto the field here for the Blazers.
And this is kickoff specialist Daniel Portillo. He only kicks off. He will be tasked with this onside kick. Now he is their regular kickoff guy, even if they boot it long. But Portillo tasked with getting a good leg into this one. A bouncing kick. It goes toward the sideline where it's safely run out of bounds by Colin Lisa. And that should do it for UAB. It's time to present our CSN Player of the Game, Who's Rollin', presented by Rolling Rentals and More, and it is, well, quarterback A.J. Erdley, who was impressive today, accounting for all 3 touchdowns. The offensive numbers weren't that pretty for either team, but Erdley, 1 passing touchdown, and then he rushes for 2 to go along with 26 yards. And when you have 24 points and you have 3 touchdowns, and Erdley has all of them, he's our Rolling Rentals Player of the Game. Rolling Rentals and More, wheels, tires, appliances, electronics, no credit check, easy payment plans, low cash prices. Call 211-521-RENT. That might have been the key play right there, that last run. It was after the UTSA fumble with the Roadrunners only down 8. That run set them up for the field goal, and there's your difference.
And he had really a bad second half, and the whole offense for UAB had a bad second half. But the turnover, and as you mentioned, that run gets them into field goal range. It ended up being a season-long field goal, but it was enough to create the separation they needed to win this game with just 3 points in the second half. But it was enough for UAB to get a road victory here in San Antonio.
UAB does it. They take the knee, the clock is going to tick out. Both teams are on the field, and the Roadrunners fall. They still need bowl eligibility, but UAB continues its storybook season, 7th win of the year for the Blazers. Following the game, stay with us for the John Wayne Service Company post-game show. When you need heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical help, make just one call to fix it all, 210-293-6700. Tonight's CSN telecast of UTSA football is a Learfield presentation with Quarter Moon Productions, the Roadrunners Sports Network. Stay with us for John Wayne Service Company post-game show. Back with more CSN football after this.